Alright, dickheads, welcome back to Practicing Portraits, an artwod roadmap, right? Get your pen, get your paper, draw along. I'm trying to get the call to action earlier, because none of you have an attention span, right? But yeah, what is artwod? Artwod is the best platform in the world for learning how to draw from imagination, right? They give you the work, not the shortcut, to understand forms, and then manipulate forms, so that you can draw from imagination like this. Okay, really bad intro. But I've been drawing for 3 years and 6 months, right? I'm Viggy. This channel is a repository of my art practice, and just literally 90% of my art practice, essentially 95, right? And it serves to prove that anybody can draw. You know, if you look at the sheer volume on my channel, that is literally my practice, right? And it's 90% fundamentals and 10% imagination drawings, where I apply those fundamentals, right? Like, this is nothing special, but you know, I only understand line, form, and perspective, right? And just through that, I've been able to create relatively believable thingies? What the fuck do you call these, right? That's a mech, that's a fucking retarded dragon, and this is a jet. We're completely like, fucking no obviously clear zero understanding of textures, right? This guy's just depressed because he slipped. Like the story was he face planted on this dragon's shit, so he's like trying to get revenge, right? But you can see he has a little tear because he's like, fuck, I bit off more than I can chew, or swallowed more shit than I can handle, literally. But anyways, do I really have anything else to say? I swear I usually say more shit on my intro. But anyways, what are we doing? We are doing the artwod portrait roadmap. No shit, we're 112 parts into this. 113 now, actually. I think this is part 113, right? So what are we doing? We are doing the exercise within the artwod roadmap. By the way, I'm like very much in the beginning. Like, I have done literally like 300 times the work that they require. And by the way, that's what it takes to get good, right? Not even great. Actually, that's what it takes to get mediocre in my case, right? Which is you must do way more volume than what is required, intentional volume, and try to understand it at a much deeper level than what is presumed that you should understand it at, right? In order to be mediocre, right? And mediocrity at 3 years and 6 months of that type of practice gets you this, right? That is what my efforts got me. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? And that's only 3 years and 6 months in, not 30 years in, right? So I actually don't know what point I'm making, but get your fucking pen, get your paper, draw a log. Jesus Christ. So yeah, what are we doing? We're looking at a portrait reference, right? We're encompassing in a box in our mind, right? We are putting a sphere inside that box. We're putting center lines inside that sphere inside the box. We're putting center lines, vertical, horizontal, and diagonal on every visible plane and invisible plane, right? We're seeing through the form, right? And we are applying the Loomis head, right? This is 100% way beyond what artwod requires. They just want you to fucking put it in a box, right? But I personally have become enamored by understanding the geometry of this to the nth degree, much like the great master draftsmen do, right? It's like, why wait to get to this point and slowly do it over the course of years and years and years and decades when I can just min-max do it right now and just spend the upfront cost of 500 hours, right? It's only been 100, but I'm assuming it's gonna take 500 to really fuse this in my mind, right? It's an arbitrary number, but the point is think in hundreds, not in fucking twos and threes, right? Like, your one practice doesn't make a difference, but your 100th practice will make 100 times the difference. It's not really that linear, probably more compounding, but the point is, I'm trying to think of a fuck ton of shit. We are building a mental 3D simulation model. If you are practicing form, perspective, draftsmanship, you understand what I'm saying, that this is just a more complex version of the basics, right? Which is, again, at the end of the day, draftsmanship. So what am I doing right now? I've already started thinking, and I'm really trying to think about the type of box that this woman's face is encompassed in, right? Because, oh, by the way, I know this thumbnail is a little bit of okay, two things. A, I didn't feel like drawing today at all, right? So I wanted to let you know that I didn't feel like drawing today at all, and yet I'm here, right? Therefore, you can also do this, right? You can also be here, at least for 5, 10, 15 minutes, draw along. Give me that good, that's enough retention, right? That's enough fucking the watch time for me. But, yeah, like, if I'm here, you're here. You can be here, 100%, like, without a fucking doubt. There's nothing that separates us, right? Except my magnum dong, but some things you're just born with, right? That is a sheer talent in and of itself. To be genetically blessed is a talent, right? So no, I don't believe in that shit. Please, never speak of the word talent. But do make sure to spam it in every single video of mine so I can be rage baited. But yeah. Anyways, oh yeah. So and the second thing is, yes, actually now I figured out the sphere. So it is not that the edges of the sphere inside the box sit at the intersection. It's that the edges of the sphere, like the curve is created by the intersections of, and this is gonna sound so fucking obvious, bro, and I literally had like the sphere model and like from the eyes.training explain it. Like, I've been looking at it and I didn't even understand it. It's literally just this. This is what creates the sphere. And this is actually, it's actually more complex. What a fucking surprise than I thought it was, but it's also more simple than I thought it was. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Like, it's more complex in terms of having to visualize everything, but it's more simple in terms of like just what needs to be done, like after like the difficult part of visualizing everything, right? So the sphere inside the box is literally just an intersection of this, right? Of the side ellipse, right? Which is in the side plane, right? Let's see, okay, so the vertical ellipse, the horizontal ellipse, right? Which is basically this. And then what is this? The fucking Z index? I don't fucking know. And then this one. Oh, what the fuck? It's this way, and what's the other one? Yeah, this way. Right. This one here. This plane, right? And the ellipse inside of this. Right? And it's just the intersection of where they meet. So ta-da! Right? Where they meet at the edge. That's literally how the sphere sits. It's brain dead, right? And I know you might be looking at this and be like, what the fuck do you mean it's brain dead, bro? That's actually quite a bit of things. But the point is, more than ever, I have to visualize every fucking seen through form and everything in order to accurately calculate the ellipses. And what that means is, more than anything, I have to be able to draw a really sound, perfect cube in perspective. Right, because it's all based on, because then you see how the sphere is a bit too wide just because the planes are a bit too wide in some angles and too narrow in other, like other planes are too narrow, right? So what this means is, like, again, this is just another opportunity to really improve my understanding. And by the way, like, I have not been thinking as much as I should, but it's just an incredible opportunity to understand exactly what cube is being drawn. So now I need to visualize. I'm looking, and the reason my speech was so stilted is because I'm looking at the portrait while trying to essentially embed my schema, right? Embed my schema onto the portrait. Like, I'm looking at her right now and I'm trying to be like, okay, so the bottom of it is clearly the nose, and the midline is the brow line, and then the top is the forehead line, roughly, right? That's the sphere, but I have to think about also the box and how that sits inside of it. So really good shit. Honestly, really good shit. But either way, let's start with just trying to visualize. And again, drawing is thinking. Never forget, drawing is thinking. But yeah, that is actually how you solve this cube, right? Or like this this box sphere. And by the way, my lines are gonna suffer quite a bit because I'm really trying to think about how this sits in perspective. And already, like, now that I've drawn this line, I'm trying to think through the form quite a bit, right? I'm trying to really think through the form quite a bit, right? And what do I mean by that? I mean that I'm trying to see the other sides of the form while I draw this, right? And I'm trying to converge it accurately as well. So I need to think quite a bit. I need to think, okay, see those, so that actually might be pretty inaccurate. That might be pretty fucking inaccurate, actually. Yeah, that's pretty inaccurate, but I've already committed, right? So we just have to accept the inaccuracy and keep going. And there you go. Now, I have a tendency to make the front plane a bit too wide, but this should be, right, should being the operative word, a relatively correct box in perspective. And right now, I can really only see through the form. Right? I'm trying to converge it as well and see through the other side and all that shit. But this should be okay. And I have to think about how, like, I have to make sure I don't converge it too drastically to the vanishing point from here, here, yeah, here, and where the fuck's the other side? See, like, I still struggle with this, bro. Fucking 1,000 plus hours in of deliberate fundamental spatial reasoning practice, and I'm still like, wait, what? Where is vanishing point? I'm so confused, right? But here, and what the fuck? Down here, and up here. Yeah, okay, well, okay, that makes sense. But anyways, or is it here, and here? That actually makes more sense. It's not fucking here, it's here. Yeah, and it's like all the way back. I know I'm putting it right here, but it's much more extended than that. But anyways, like, I'm trying to see through the form, and now the biggest thing is to see the center plane. And what do I need to see for to get that center plane accurately? Again, see this cross axis, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, diagonally, diagonal, vertical. See, I really struggle with these narrow planes, visualizing that horizontal. See, that was wrong, horizontal. And if you can't see that, it's okay, because, like, I'm not expecting you to fucking analyze the minutiae of my ghosting, but just know that, like, that's why I'm explaining, like, hey, I ghosted that incorrectly, right? You have to be constantly aware of that, right? And I just need to make sure this box is okay in perspective. Like I have to really think that through. That's why like there's a lot of thinking happening right now, right? And I'm really trying to see the this right now, like the cross axis of everything, and then I also have to see the ellipse being projected outward onto the center, right? So that is, it's amazing that now I know like that's where it meets, right? Like that's where it meets. And I think maybe this top is too large. Maybe there you go. Maybe that's a bit better. Right. Yeah, actually, yeah, I needed to extend this bottom side of this plane maybe a bit more, right? Otherwise, it doesn't really create a quote-unquote perfect box. But now the big thing is like, okay, so we have to think like, what is the plane? So I have to see through the form, right? That's the biggest, from this angle, again, this is a new schema. So to see through the form in this angle, I'm really struggling because my mind is essentially diverging the backplane like this, right? Diverging, it can't even see this backplane that much. This is all diverging, like again, and it's to be aware of that, to be like, no, please course correct. And by please course correct, I mean like fucking actively taxing your working memory, right? And putting in sheer effort to be like, no, fix this, right? Because I need to see through the form. And then now that I've relatively held a seen through form, even though, again, like the lines, even the outside of the box, right, I'm not able to currently, I'm struggling with visualizing the line accurately, right, converging accurately and stopping accurately, right? But I'm still trying to see that, because before I put any line down, the active effort is to visualize it all, right? And then now to think, okay, well, we got this ellipse, right, this center ellipse, and then we got this ellipse right here, right? This one, this bottom plane horizontal ellipse, right? And this is all based on the center plane. It's right here, and it's projected outward, right? And then we got this one. Like this is the center, so this is also another one, right? This, I don't know what to call this. This is fucking length, width, and depth. Yeah, the fucking depth ellipse, I guess. This front plane ellipse, right? And that's the center. And then let's see. And obviously, like, the ellipses are centered, by the way. Like, they are aligned with the center point. So the ellipses, right, that are projected from the planes into the center plane, right, like these ellipses projected outward, whether it's this one on the side, this one on the front, or this one on the bottom, they're projected outward to this center, right? Center, like this one center, and then this one center, right? And yeah, they are projected right in the center. They align properly. And that's why I'm saying, like, it's even more complicated now because there's so much for me to, like, I genuinely have to see this entire fuse thing because now the sphere is contingent on all of these calculations being accurate such that when they meet, I am able to be like, okay, that means the sphere is like this, right? It's roughly like this, right? And that has nothing to do with the center lines. That has everything to do with like the where these meet. Again, what I'm trying to say is, like, we have this, and then we have this, right? The sphere meets, like, the outline of the sphere is where they all meet, right? No, fucking Jesus Christ, that line. But like this, right? Like, that's where they all meet. You see? That's the sphere. And then it's like, okay, so where's the box then? Well, the box is this, right? So you see, it doesn't really fucking matter. Oh, well, I completely put the box incorrectly. So the box is not that. The box is more up here, right? But the point is, like, yeah, the box is just a reflection of where they all meet, but it's all based on the box, right? That's the more of the correct box. But even then, that's not that correct. But yeah, like, you see, so that way it's not that fact that, oh, the edges of the sphere are meeting on the center line, right? Yeah, they sometimes they happen to coincide at the center point of each plane, right? But it's the fact that they meet where the ellipses themselves are projected and maintained in the center plane of the box, right? Because the ellipses are the contours of the sphere. So of course, logically, it would make sense that the edges of the sphere connect consistently to the contours of the sphere, right? Height, width, and depth. But to get to this point took me a lot of work. So I'm gonna rest my brain. That was a decent amount of visualization. But again, in the beginning, I always, like, do not visualize as intensively. But next time, I'm gonna rest my brain, and then we're gonna push in even deeper. Even deeper. Anyways, please rest your brain as well. it's an egotistical thing, but I was just thinking, and I know it's surprising that I was thinking, right? But I was like, when this channel gets famous and when a lot of you cocksuckers start drawing along with me, there will be an entire generation of children or young adults or teenagers who grow up just saying stupid shit like hello, whatever other nuances that I have, just like I did with the creatures, right? Like the whole alright hello that I do every now and then, purely from James, Uber Haxer Nova, right? Fucking, there's so many little things, right? that my mannerisms is picked up completely from the creatures. But anyways, I was just thinking, like, yes, when I'm so famous, people have that with me as well, right? That's not cocky, is it? But I think this is a pretty decent box. I'm sure it has issues, right? I'm 100% sure it has issues, but overall, like, I'm trying to think, this seems okay to me. And now the main thing is, let me, like, okay, while I, like, close it off, essentially, now I really just, this is the beautiful part, I'm gonna think extremely hard, right? But while I close this box off, and also, like, I got this angle wrong. This, when I look at the reference now, this woman's face is angled more like this. It's, see, there's a pretty big difference. I did this, and her angle's like that. I don't know what's wrong with this pen, bro. I love this pen when it works, but so many times when I'm using it, especially in, like, the first 5 hours of use, 10 hours of use, it's always oscillating between bleeding as it should, like, the ink being absorbed as it should as a fresh pen, and then, not at all. And it's like, I don't even know what the fucking... See, like, bruh. Okay, whatever, just GG. Anyways, and then now look, it's gonna work properly for some reason. I just have an intuition about that. But anyways, like, while I'm drawing this line, I need to zoom out and that's the thing. I have to zoom out, see through the entire form, right? And you see how my hand went this way, even though it should be going this way, like converging. So again, like, that's just another mistake. I need to see through the entire form, right? And make sure, like, the ghosting is correct, right? I need to see through the entire form, make sure the ghosting is correct to the best of my ability, see through it, and then also see the diagonal axes, right? And the vertical axes, right? And then put the sphere where the planes meet, right? And this plane and then the center plane, like, think about that, right? And then this right here, this one, this, and it's like, it's so hard because there's a million things, but more than ever I need to be thinking about that center plane, right? And it's so fucking difficult, bruh. I love this. I'm nutting. Nuts for the experience as a wise Viggy. Oh, fuck it, bro. No, fucking literally basically gave away my name. GG. Whatever. At 1,000 subs, nobody's gonna give a shit. But at 10,000 subs, maybe some of you will. But again, that's the beauty of my channel. Too many fucking videos. How many of you are actually gonna come back and watch this one specifically? Be like, oh, he did the thing. He said his name by accident, right? Geez, that was really bad. But it's only as bad as I make it, right? Like, my concern is everybody will find out my entire fucking life history. Because the internet, there's some crazy fuckers out there. But if you are that crazy fucker, please don't. I would highly appreciate it if, and by the way, while I'm talking, I'm completely thinking about how everything is converging and all that shit. Very difficult to do. But if you are that crazy fucker, please do not spend your time doxing me and instead draw along. And I mean, bro, who really gives a fuck about me at the end of the day? Like, that's actually what I have to think about. Like, who really... I think I made this extended a bit too much, actually, now that I think about it, right? Like, this is a bit too long, this bottom part of the box. And it makes sense. I thought it was correct when I had... Because initially it was shorter, right? But now looking at it, it's like, no. So we're going to actually cut off this much and make it this, like what it was originally. Right, because this is how we learn. And again, I'm really trying to think through the form. I'm really trying to think through the form while I do this. And I'm also really trying to see the cross axes, right? Like, I'm trying really fucking hard. Am I succeeding? Most definitely not. But I'm trying really hard. And you can see my convergences aren't really that good, right? They're not that obvious. But see, like, now already drawing this box, it's just immediately my brain has freed up energy, right? But that's not what I want. Obviously, I want to be able to see everything all at once, but my brain is immediately freed up energy to think about this cross-axis, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal, right? And it's just constantly, and this is, again, I hope I'm really, like, making it clear that there's no fucking secret. Constant thinking, constant calculating, constant effort, that's literally it, right? That's literally it, you know? And there's nothing else. So it's just how much effort are you putting in? Where are you putting your effort towards, right? And then what's that effort gonna get you? All the effort I'm putting in and where that effort's gotten me has gotten me this, to be able to draw this from imagination, even though I do not have a visual library, and this is just from vaguely observing the world around me and trying to pay attention to like shit on my Pinterest that I have saved for like hard surface boards, right? And like I fucking looked at a jet for like 20 minutes cumulative over a week, and I'm like, okay, let me try to draw it from my mind. And it was in a completely different perspective, by the way. The front was facing this way, and I just drew it from the back. Why? Because my spatial reasoning it's all about spatial reasoning. All about spatial reasoning, right? If you say it like that, people understand. It's all about spatial reasoning. But either way, like I'm really like this was great because I'm really trying to think. This right now, and again, nothing's happening, right? Like haven't done much physically in terms of actual drawing, but mentally, like I'm constantly calculating. And I need to push even further because this is a new angle and I need to be in extreme discomfort. Right, so that's another question I always ask myself is like, am I in extreme discomfort? The answer right now is not really. I'm in a decent amount of discomfort, but not extreme. And by the way, I'm explaining this to you, so you're aware that like, hey, he's narrating his discomfort, which is extremely difficult to do because he's again using his prefrontal cortex to do all of the work that he's saying he's doing, and at the same time he's narrating it. He's explaining, sometimes going on tangents. That's a different part of his brain that's also taking up his working memory. That's also taking up cognitive energy, right? Working memory skill, cognitive endurance skill, sheer taxation of the mind. That's it, right? Neuroplasticity, focusing on the fucking errors, right? I'm making shit ton of mistakes right now. Right now, you know what's happening with this back plane? It's like this. It's doing this, and I'm like, no, my guy, you must go this way. No, please, no, please stop. Oh, you're very getting. I was gonna make a joke about like, oh, I'm so close, or like, please lower. I don't know. But the point is, I'm thinking about it wrong. But either way, like you see, I'm constantly trying to correct, and I need to go slower and ghost slower as well, right? Because that's how you actually get faster. You know, you cannot be a one pump chump. You must really take your time. 3 pumps, that's the first goal, 3 pumps, right? But let's see, and like this back plane looks pretty wrong to me right now. But again, that's just all I can focus on right now. So like while I'm doing that, while I'm really trying to visualize, now that I've done my best to ghost and like to solidify the other side of the plane, because again, this is a new angle to have this schema, right? Which is the add-on is now seeing through the plane. So this, while I've drawn this angle many times or visualize this angle many times, to visualize this angle with the cross axis, I've done that many times, but to visualize this angle with the cross axis with the planes and seeing through the form that I have not, that you can't see, it's on the other side, that I have not done before. That's another, what is it, 1, 2, 3, and then additional 1, 2, 3, right? 3 additional planes. And what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 additional calculations being had, right? 3 times 4, 12. 12 additional calculations that I'm now adding to my repertoire of already increasing skill, right? Or increasing visualization complexity. And on top of that now, I have to think about all of that while I'm thinking about this center plane, and I have to think about these ellipses and how they're projecting outward onto that center plane, right? And that is the main thing. Like I really have to think about these ellipses more than ever, right? That are contained within these planes, and then project them, and then like align with the center, of course, to the best of my ability. So again, I have to really think about this center. And my brain is really fucking trying to do all of this. Like right now, just for a second, I did my best to think about all the invisible planes, the diagonal cross axis, the center plane, vertical, horizontal, and the Z, right? Like the depth, I guess, as you can call it. And then put the ellipse inside of it. But you know what I haven't been able to do? Connect all of those to the sphere. So that's another skill, right? To be like, okay, well, how does this connect with the sphere, right? Because that's this. It's connecting, hopefully, right? And then we got this one. I have to think about right here, like roughly that's where it should be, because we got this ellipse and that's roughly where it should be aligned. And then we have to bring it down, right? That seems okay. And then I have to think about the Z axis. So that's another thing. It's like, where is that? That's right here. So it's actually more, see, oh, that's so much to think about. But this is what I'm trying to visualize, right? Like this is still what I'm trying to visualize, but now the logic of how I'm placing it inside is actually more nuanced, because it's not just connecting on this X, because I have more difficulty, right? I have built a better skill of visualizing these cross axes, so it's easier to like pinpoint it to the center of the center points of like every single plane. But now it's not about the center point of every single plane, it's about the center plane, the ellipse inside the plane, and then curving it around the end points of that plane, of those ellipses, right? Like that is actually even more difficult, because that means I have to visualize these center planes, which I haven't built the skill. I haven't put in as much cognitive effort than the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions, right? Towards that. Sorry, I was just gargling on dick. So that is what I'm basically trying to do right now, right? And like, so when I start my ellipse or my sphere here, I keep using them interchangeably, they're different, right? So there's this is what I'm thinking about right now. Let me actually make it very clear, right? So I'm trying to see through the form, right? And think about the convergence, the convergence, no, what the fuck, the convergence, yeah, like this, because this is my horizon line, what the fuck, am I Asian? Right to somebody, horizon line, there you go, now I'm a Texan, I fuck my sister, there you go, now we're on the same page, right? We're in the same page. Either way, crass humor aside, that nobody finds funny, including me, disgusting. I need to do some reflection afterwards. And I'm done. That was pretty good. But apart from, okay, let me actually tell you what I'm thinking. Jesus Christ. You see what I mean? Bro, this is the fucking humor you have to tell yourself because everything's so difficult. So I'm trying to think about the back plane. I'm trying to think about the cross axis in the back plane, right? Right, I'm trying to think about the cross axis in the back plane. This one, this back plane, this back plane right here, right? Projected out this way, and then projected out back here, right? I'm trying to think about all of that, and now I'm trying to think about the center plane, and I've already lost like that back plane shit, but I'm trying to hold it in my mind as much as I can while I think about this center plane. I have to see through it. That's the biggest thing. I haven't been able to see through it. You see, I've only been ghosting this. Ghosting this is actually what's going to really help me, right? So there's a lot. There's like 50%, 60% of the things I cannot see, right? And that's all based on this being projected outward, of course, right? See, like I brought this up a bit too high at the edge, but it's over here. So again, I need to... And again, like being able to see through this is really going to help me just consistently focus on the fact that the back planes exist as well. Because if I only do this side, it's easy to not think about it. But if I do this entire side, it's like, oh no, you really have to think through the form. So this one, and I have to think about the ellipse while I do that too, right? So there's this one. You see, like it's getting a lot better just because I'm forced to think about the entirety of the back plane. And this one actually might be a bit too small, right? And then... So this is the thinking. This is the active thinking my working memory is taxed with. And then this one, right? See, like I got that completely wrong because I don't do this. I haven't practiced this angle nowhere near enough. I don't know why I said nowhere near like that, but nowhere near enough, right? And then, yeah, this. And now I have to, oh, bro. Okay, so we're going to push into this and we're going to rest our brain, right? But I have to think about all of that. And it's really hard because I'm not trying to ghost anymore. I'm just trying to think about every single back plane, the cross axis, everything, the center plane. I'm trying to also project the ellipse inside of it in the center plane, right? And it's really hard. I can't see anything. I'm in output regression, but I'm trying really hard. And then I got to, fuck, my head keeps tapping the goddamn camera. But anyways, that distracted me. I have to like rebuild this again. But now I have to, and this is the beautiful part. Now I have to draw the, and this is what's gonna, the sphere, right? There you go. There you go. And now that makes sense because now we see this. We see this depth because the z-axis, this depth axis, whatever the fuck it is, like I was having trouble being like, isn't that just the edge of the sphere? But no, it's not because it's intersecting and then the sphere is just aligning with that. I still don't think I saw it perfectly accurately, but again, it's also all dependent on how well I drew the box, like how quote unquote perfectly I constructed the box, right? Which is this perfect cube in perspective. But, whew, okay, let me rest my brain. Look at that, 28 minutes, right? I just drew a box. No, I did hundreds of repetitions in my mind of visualization and calculations, right? This doesn't matter. And again, it's about the complexity. If you're quote unquote just drawing a box, yeah, you shouldn't be taking fucking 28 minutes to draw the box, right? Maybe I shouldn't use the word shouldn't, but as a general trend, if you are simply, and I shouldn't say simply either, I understand it's all difficult, but if you are focusing on the more basic version, right, the less complicated, the first step, which is the horizon line, right, and then the vanishing point and the box, right, it will more likely take you between 5 to 10 minutes of thinking to get this down, right? And this is like a diverging box. I don't even know what the fuck point I was trying to make here. Wait, this isn't even correct. Oh no, so that's 2-point perspective. My bad, I wasn't even thinking. See, I wasn't thinking, so even when I'm not thinking, I fuck up so badly. But yeah, see, like this, being able to do wee, being able to see this, right, maybe third point right there, wee, right, that would more likely not take you nowhere near as much time as this is taking me, because here I'm building an extremely complicated geometric mental model of 3D simulation, right? in order to be an underlying foundation of my portraits, you know? And this is obviously all transferable because it's highly transferable. So what I'm saying is, the more complicated it gets, the more time it will take you to visualize, right? This, while complex and very difficult for a beginner, right? Let's say in your first 100 hours, this will probably take you 10 to 15 minutes, right? If you are like trying to visualize and apply it to the complexity that where like it becomes intuitive, right? To draw like 3 to 4 of these boxes, you know, each box in of itself will probably take you a few minutes of just being like, yo, think about the fucking vanishing point, bro. And in the beginning, just quote unquote, just this distance, right? This tinier distance will probably take you a lot of energy. And then over time, the box will get larger, right? The box will go from this to this to this to this, right? And then the horizon line will go from here like to this to like this size to larger, and the distance in of itself will get larger. It's why, like, you know, 3.5 years later, I can see the horizon line. Like, actually, funny enough, for this, the horizon line is gonna be something like this because I want to really show that they're in the sky and there's gonna be like little cities. That's the plan. I'm gonna try to make it come to life as much as I can, right? But I see now, like, I can just see the horizon line this way, that way. I can conceptualize that the horizon line for this guy is way further back, right? But yeah, it's all sequential. So all I'm trying to say is the energy you're putting in, as long as you're putting in energy and you're really trying to focus, you are on the right path. Just keep going. Anyways, let's rest our brains because that was very difficult, very fun. Coolio. All right. See, like and another thing I really want to make clear because I want to explain my thought process to the degree that there's no questions when it comes to like what are people who are good at spatial reasoning thinking about. I'm not good at spatial reasoning, by the way, but like, okay, people who are trying to get good at spatial reasoning, people who are practicing spatial reasoning, what is actually happening in their mind? Immediately when I look at this, I'm seeing the cross axis, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, diagonal, vertical, horizontal, right? This one, because I struggle with it more, because this is a more difficult angle, I need to see it a lot more, and be a lot more intentional, and put more cognitive energy towards it. But now that I'm focusing here, these are more vague, right? And now, but I still, like when I do this, I'm thinking about the ellipse, like everything, I'm constantly oscillating, which just means changing, shifting, right? Just constantly going through all these different calculations. Now I'm trying to see through the form because I'm like, oh, you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, see through the form, right? Which is why I have to constantly keep thinking about the center planes. So now I'm, bless me, oh Jesus Christ, bless me. But I'm trying to think. I also don't know why my burps are in 2 phases, by the way, where it's like, I'm just a heads up. Why does he do it? Even Vicky has no idea. It's simply his biology. He was born with it. He's talented with these burping skills, right? But the main thing I'm trying to reinforce to myself is like, you will get better at seeing through the form the more that you see these cross axes, and the more, and this is just me thinking out loud and reinforcing to myself. And right now I'm seeing through the form decently, not incredibly, but decently, right? There's still a lot of minute inconsistencies occurring, right? But the main thing is obviously the fact that like the front planes are narrower than the back planes, right? Like the back planes are wider, like you see more of it because it is converging. You know, if this is the point where it's converging to, like somewhere here, right, it makes sense that, and again, if you don't understand this concept yet, that means you can work on your boxes, right? But it makes sense that this plane is shifting forward, so we see more of it, and this one is shifting backwards, so we see less of it. That's part of quote-unquote foreshortening, like not quote-unquote, that's just part of foreshortening. From my understanding, I could be explaining this relatively incorrectly. There could be some nuance that I don't understand, right? But bottom. I have a large bottom. It's actually very soft. I don't know why. It's like a baby's ass, bro. Just as a complete fucking aside, right? I have a very soft bum. But anyways, like I'm trying to think about, and again, this isn't even connected properly, but I'm trying to think about the center plane. Again, like see through the center plane and really, and every line I put down, it's completely a reference from this cross axis, right? Like that is what my brain intuitively sees now, by the way. My brain, after hundreds and thousands of efforts, right, which is all cataloged, and you'll see like I started struggling with the diagonals a lot in my fundamentals practice. If you go to my fundamentals playlist, and you'll see like, oh, between parts 40 and 70 is essentially where it really was like, I need to start learning diagonals. This is the step. But now I'm seeing diagonal, center, like vertical, horizontal, diagonal. Like this is, again, fucking 300 hours later or 200 hours later, right? I'm like, oh yes, intuitive, right? But even then, I'm constantly thinking about it. There's no intuition in the sense that like I'm actively aware that I'm thinking about this thing, right? But yeah, like it's like the Star of David, right? Is that the Star of David? No, it's just a fucking star, bro. I have no idea what I'm saying. I just wanted to make a reference to a star, and that's the only star I know, right? What about the star that is you? Oh, we're all so special. But anyways, okay, fucking. So I'm trying to think about the center plane. I'm really trying to think about everything, and then this center plane, right? And then the most difficult one, clearly, and then the ellipse inside of it, that's the other struggle, right? Like, don't just think about the center plane, think about the ellipse. Same here. Think about the center plane, right? But then think about the ellipse inside of it, right? And this ellipse, so that's already creating a little bit more consistency. And then think about this center plane and how it's going through, right? And this ellipse. So again, and the second I think about this ellipse, by the way, from this, like that's projected outwards here, and this center plane, right, that's projected outwards from this plane, right, I immediately lost everything else, because this one is the biggest struggle, right? This right here is the biggest struggle for me to understand, because I have not practiced this at all. There have been there haven't even been hours put into this, right? Most likely just now cumulative, it's been like an hour of trying, not even doing, but just trying. But trying is doing, so I guess it's kind of redundant to say that. But and again, like every time I go through these lines, I also need to actively force myself, because if I only focus on this line, I'm zoomed out right now, right? I am not consciously thinking about the fact that I need to align it with the center. Intuition is what's making me align it relatively accurately to the center, but intuition is what I fucking don't want to do, right? Because I need to actively build a correct mental model and a schema and a simulation in my mind. So, and again, like when I'm going through the back here, I need to see this cross-axis and this cross-axis, which I haven't been able to do at all from this angle, because this is a different angle, right? This schema, my schema for this, is not as articulate. It is not as robust, right? So, and again, like I actually haven't. Now I've just recognized that. Fucking 36 minutes in, I've just recognized that I haven't been calculating the centers and the diagonals and the centers for these the back planes, right? And now that is another thing I need to constantly think about, right? But now that I'm thinking about this, do you think my mind is able to immediately also see the center planes? Absolutely fucking not, right? But the point is constantly trying, right? And this is amazing. Like this level of complexity, I basically have to force myself to see the schema. And you might be like, bro, draw the fucking face on top of this already. But you don't understand. I've been drawing for the past half hour in my mind. I've been consistently fucking trying to figure this out. And right now, the main thing is I'm gonna really push into just seeing this sphere. And again, like you need to understand, if you don't, is the fact that you're like, what does he mean he's thinking? This, I'll say it again, this is all the calculations I'm trying to constantly see in my mind. One more time, I'll say it, this, right? Diagonal, vertical, horizontal, right? Of each single plane, visible and invisible now, right? Because I was looking at this and I have to look back at this, as well as the ellipse in each visible plane, projected outwards into the center plane of each plane, right? To use as the basis for the sphere's positioning, right? Which the sphere then curves around, right? Like again, like now I'm trying again. I'm really trying again to see through and then think about the sphere or think about the ellipse. And I'm like, okay, this is the top. This is where my top of my sphere is. Now, when I move this, I have to think about, okay, where's the center? Here it's going, okay, cool. Because this is aligned with this ellipse, right? That's this thing's horizontal contour. So it's right here. So we start here, we go here. I'm constantly trying to see through the form. Right, we bring it down. Okay, it's still down here, right? And then, but then again, we got this curve right here. So it's here, and then we got this curve right around here because that's this projection, right? So we got this center plane, and we got a curve here that it has to meet. So I have to constantly fucking keep tapping my head on this, but I have to constantly be aware of this, right? So it's like, okay, it's projected. We got my camera shaking too. Why is the camera shaking? No idea. Whatever. It's what it is. But it's because I tapped my head on it. I'm fucking retarded. But okay, so this, see, like this, and this top edge is aligned with the top edge of this ellipse, right? So it's actually a bit lower right now that I see that. And again, do I really see it? I only saw it because I fucking looked at it here. But again, let's see this top edge, and I have to think about it in terms of the contours of the sphere. And this is coming, and like it's like an entire fuckery that I have to see, right? So this ellipse, seeing it is bringing it over here, right? This is my center, right? Because my center right there, this ellipse. So I have to think about that as well. This is the center ellipse. And then we have to think about this back ellipse projected and how it's meeting that. Let's keep going, right? And then the center ellipse again, and then the back ellipse again, and then the what the fuck? What is it? The back ellipse. Okay, this one's kind of like this. Woof. Okay, my brain is definitely an output regression. It's this, and then this one is coming out here. Oh, so it's a bit more. There you go. And then it's curving in. Okay, there you go. And then it's up here. There you go. Do I see it perfectly? No, but I'm really trying to lean into this, like to understand like all the different ellipses and the planes they're in. Okay. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna rest my brain. And I encourage you to do the same. Jesus, that was amazing. All right, wonderful. So you notice how every time I'm really in like the fucking deep end of just any work I'm doing, like especially when it comes to spatial reasoning or any art thing. You notice how I'm always saying that was amazing, this feels great, right? That is me attaching dopamine to the effort and to the errors that I'm making, like every time. And to be very clear, it's taken 800 plus hours of consistent sheer mindset retraining to get to this point where I automatically just feel good every time I'm trying, right? Do you think, and I've explained this before, but do you think in the beginning when I can barely draw a line, right, and I had to do it in pen because I told myself you must do it in pen, you need to build confidence because you have shit fucking line confidence, right? Because before I forced myself to draw with pen, I was just like this, like scritching. This is all beginners. If you're fucking called out by this, good, be called out, and then be objective and be like, oh, okay, cool, that means I can get better at this. And actually, more than anything, do I want to get better, or am I gonna hide behind my ego and be like, no, it's my style? So the answer is, it's not your style. You have poor line confidence, right? Just like me, I have fucking 100 million shit things going on in my art at all times, right? And that's just about being objective. So I have two things to say, which is one, everything you respond with is a mindset, right? Fucking pen. But the point is, I was scritching a lot, but then do you think that when I was doing the lines, right, when I had to be like, oh, visualize a point from here to here, and I was like, okay, ghost, okay, ghost, okay, ghost, and my ghosting was not as clean as it is now. It was like, okay, oh gosh, if I go, ghost, and just like fucking do that 20 times, and then I was like, all right, man, it's time to commit, man, it's time to commit. I was like fucking heart beating fast and shit, and I was just like, just completely fucking off, right? Obviously, drama. The following has been dramatized for entertainment purposes. But the point is clear, right? Like, it was really fucking bad. And then I had to do it 50 more times for that hour. Right? So I had to learn how to have a good mindset. And that's why I went so deep into learning neuroscience and learning about attaching dopamine to effort and feeling good about the effort and feeling good about mistakes, and how actually feeling frustration when you're learning completely blocks your learning, right? So all these things I had to learn. By the way, I wasn't looking at the box, but now that I am, immediately I'm thinking about the scene through form and trying to think about the diagonal cross-axis, the vertical cross-axis, right? And am I doing it correctly? No, because I keep stopping this back plane here, but it's down here, right? Roughly down here. So I have to keep being aware of that. And again, I made a mistake, I feel great. And in the beginning, again, for the first 2 years, I just had a fucking shit-eating grin on my face. Every time I made a mistake, especially with, anything, lines, and because it was just lines and basic boxes and cylinders, right? This was my fucking face. I'd be like this. And then every time I made a mistake that I could notice, which I'll try to notice my mistakes as often as possible. That's another thing. Keep trying to notice mistakes as often as possible. I'd just be like, error. And I'd be like, oh yeah, I feel so good, error. Right? Like, but now I can just create a wave of dopamine, a wave of, that felt amazing, I made a mistake, right? So, yeah, that is the way, right? And then the other thing that I wanted to say was, what the fuck? Okay, so it was about the mindset and like making mistakes. What was the other thing I wanted to say? Fuck, man, it was gonna be important too. God damn it. Well, if I remember, I'll come back to it, but yeah, I don't remember. God damn it, I actually don't know what I was gonna say. But the other thing I can say, fuck it, well, if I remember, I remember. But anyways, right now, like, I'm struggling so hard, because again, I want to be very clear. Like, I literally have to see the center planes. I don't know, my voice is like this. I have to see the center planes. There you go. I have to see the center planes. Right, I literally have to see the center. Yeah, so this is what I talk like now. I literally have to see the center planes, and first I have to see this. Right, this is just the first step, and then I have to be like, oh yeah, it's a line like this, it's a line like that. You can see even in this rough example, it's not the best. So I have to see that. And then, inside that, while I hold this, I have to see these ellipses, like so. Right? And this is always, always, always based on the box, right? And then I have to see that, and then I have to be like, okay, well, now I have to draw my sphere, that is, and I did this wrong too, but my sphere that is aligned. It's like, it's just like following the curves. It's just connecting the edges of these. Bro, what is wrong with this pen? Pen, please! Please don't do this! I have a fucking drawing channel! I can't have my pen lose its shit. Okay, well, since this pen wants me to go fuck myself, we will do just that and get a new pen. Friendship with new pen over. Going back to the old pen, which was the new pen, but now that the ink ran out. Whatever. The point is, it's very difficult. So right now, my brain is struggling a fuck ton, and I mean a fuck ton, to see through the planes, because I'm basically, it's been 40 minutes, right? You basically want to be in this like extreme high intensive state for 40 to 60 minutes, right? And like learning blocks in general shouldn't be more than 90 minutes. They're called ultradian rhythms. Our brain, our bodies, everything focus operates by ultradian rhythms, which are 90-minute blocks, which is why most people, you know, they do work for 60 to 90 minutes, take like a 15-minute rest, and then they resume, right? Like studying for 4 hours straight is actually completely fucking useless. I mean, you can do 3 to 4 hours of deep work max, right? We're capable of that. But in terms of like actual brain efficiency's sake, my understanding is that it's better to take at least like 10-15-minute rests every hour, right? But anyways, like my brain's really struggling to, and you see like, to see the center plane, because I have to see the center plane now. So I'm like brute forcing my brain, and when I see the center plane, I have to see these cross axes. Cross axes? What's correct? The cross axes. When I see these center planes, I don't know why my voice always gets so high, bitch. When I see these center planes, I need to use my deep voice. When I see these center planes, I have to see the cross axis, right? I have to see the cross axis, this cross axis, center, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, right? And then I have to constantly see the ellipses inside these center planes, right? Inside, and it's projected outward from here, obviously, but it's to see it inside. My head keeps tapping the fucking camera. I'm sorry, bro, but you're not here. I'm assuming you're not listening. You're just drawing along. Hopefully, I'm muted actually, and you just give me sheer retention. But I have to. It's so difficult because I have to like this. Everything, my brain just, I'm really trying to push into seeing through the form and seeing the, like you see, I can barely do the vertical and horizontal ellipse. I can barely understand that right now, right? But I'm really trying to see through the form. And then I'm trying to see this end as well, because seeing through it is the most important thing right now. So, and then, and that's already, I'm already struggling immensely with just seeing through the form and make of this for the center planes, right? And making sure that I can see, like the biggest struggle right now is just me being able to see the center planes, right? Like these at the same time. Not even just seeing them, but I have to see them at the same time, because seeing them at the same time is what's going to help me see the ellipses at the same time. And then based on that, do you see why this is actually way more complicated? And I actually have to have my schema fused before I can even make this sphere. Because seeing them at the same time and without doing as little guesswork as possible is what's going to allow me to, because if I can see them, I know I'm repeating myself, but what I'm trying to say is if I can see all of this at the same time, right, the planes and the ellipses inside of them, so center planes and all the ellipses inside of them, and see through the form, it's only then that my sphere will be accurate, because it's all based on the edges, right? It's all based on the edges. And like here's when I'm struggling a lot. It's like what else is happening? Oh, it's like right here, and it's too large, I think. Yeah, it's too large. But let's see. And there's a convergence here happening, or like two interlapping. This front one ellipse is interlapping, and this horizontal one's overlapping. So I have to keep that in mind. Yeah, see, and then this is my ellipse, because then it keeps going. It's a perfect circle. There you go. Whew. Okay, so I see that a little bit now. I think my box has issues. That's a big part of it, right? But I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna take a step back, rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. And then finally, after 49 minutes, we will draw the face. We will draw the features, right? And that's also going to be very difficult because now I have to think about the Loomis proportions roughly while I try to hold this sphere in mind, which I can't see because now I understand how to do it properly. So there's beautiful, beautiful, a lot of things. Oh, it's amazing. So yeah, just to be clear, again, I'll explain. The reason that now this updated understanding of why drawing the sphere and understanding how it sits inside the box has become even more complicated is because it requires more calculating, more visualizing, and more solidified visualized calculations, right? Like, yeah, I need to be, before it was all based, my understanding was based on the fact that they just had to touch at the center point of every plane, right? So I'm like, okay, I gotta see through the form. That's difficult, but I've already built the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions and hours to see the cross axis. So I'm like, it wasn't as difficult. That's why I was able to do multiple reps at a time, right? And that's why, but I was also struggling because like, how does that make sense? How does the front ellipse sort of translate into all of this, right? But now it's like, and that's why I didn't think about the center plane as much as I thought I needed to. But now it's like, no, you have to see every single bit of the box, right? I have to see all the calculations, diagonal, vertical, horizontal. Same thing here, and then same thing at the same time at the back. Now I have to see through the form and really see that, right? Really see that. This isn't as difficult, but still in this angle, this is a new angle. This is testing my mental model, right? This is a new angle. I have to really see it, right? And then I have to project the center plane accurately and hold this three-dimensional center plane inside the box accurately, right? In relation to the box itself. And you see, I ghosted wrong too. I went this way, right? So again, like, beautiful mistakes. And I have to see this entire fusion, right? Of all the fucking different planes and like how the center plane is sitting exactly there. And only then, after that, I have to put ellipses and project them outwards, right? And like personally for me, I want to be able to see the ellipse like at all three levels, but just for the time being, we'll do what's visible right now, right? By all three levels, I mean I want to be able to see this ellipse, and then be like, okay, this is the ellipse, like, because again, it is slightly larger than this one, but it's slightly smaller than this one, right? But that's the contour of the sphere, so I have to think about that as well, right? And this in and of itself is probably, hopefully, making me be like, oh damn, that's a fuck ton of shit. And what is art? What is draftsmanship? What is spatial reasoning? Taxing your working memory, cognitive endurance, and this is easily like 40 plus calculations at this point. How many can our brain hold again? 5 plus minus 2, right? Between 3 to fucking, oh no, I think it's 5 to 7, sorry, 5 to 9. So it's 7 plus minus 2, right? So 5 to 9 things at once we can hold in our mind. So what is that forcing my brain to do? It has to chunk all these things I just mentioned into 5 to 9 units, units. Yeah, 5 to 9 consolidated, calculated units. But it's not doing that right now because it's inefficient. It is seeing everything separately, right? The only thing that are units is the box and the center lines on the visible planes. Everything else is relatively individual calculations that constantly have to be done, especially because I forgot to finish what I have to still calculate is the center plane, this center plane, right? And while I'm doing this, I'm struggling a lot because you can see I want to stop here, but it's like, no, this center plane, right? And the ellipse inside of it, this center plane, the ellipse inside of it, and then this center plane and the ellipse inside of it, right? My hand wanted to stop a bit further back before it actually hit the edge of the plane, but no, like this center plane and the ellipse inside of that. And then I've already lost everything, and I have to see all of that consistently, right? Like the planes in their center and their ellipses inside of them. And because I need to see the ellipses inside of them accurately, such that I can start the sphere and understand exactly where it is, like where it's curving along, because it intersects. It's literally just meeting the edges, right? It's just meeting the edges. It's meeting the edges of these ellipses. Like, obviously, the fucking ellipse starts and ends at its contours. Makes sense, right? But to But the actual depth behind those calculations, incredibly difficult. And that's why it's incredibly rewarding, right? But again, like, I cannot see much, but I really have to keep trying to see it. And there you go, something like this is my sphere, right? Something like that. And I couldn't see the fucking ellipses at all. Like, I'm not guessing because I'm aware they exist, but to the extent of which I'm trying to calculate, my brain is at output regression. I can't think to that level. So I'm gonna take another break. But yeah, that's what I want to explain. Like, this is why it's so complex, because I'm really trying to understand it to the absolute geometric foundation. And again, it's because of, and this is highly transferable, the more you understand space calculations and how things reside in space and how the forms exist in space, the more you can just draw space that is believable. Good? Well designed? No. Right? Well textured? Absolutely not. But believable and shit designs and textures on top of believability? Yes. Right? So even with my complete lack of knowledge on anything else, literally anything else apart from line, form, and perspective, and even the knowledge on those three things is fucking mediocre, right? I am capable. And by the way, if I'm saying mediocre, I don't want you to be like, oh, if this Heath thinks this is mediocre, then I must be fucking horrendous. First of all, stop the fucking comparison game. Second, just understand that I'm comparing, or evaluating, not comparing, evaluating myself against the absolute top of the line artists, draftsmen that I look up to, right? So my words are abrasive, they are crass, they are dismissive and rude to myself, but they're not emotionally attached. Shit, I can fucking take a piss on this and I wouldn't give a shit. Although I want to keep it for archival purposes, right? I have no attachments to my art, just pure objectivity. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to say before I rest my brain. If you want to be the best learner that you want to be, you must be as objective as possible. You must treat yourself, you must treat your entire being, your mind, as if it's a car that needs tuning. Like, as if you're a project that is constantly being tinkered with, fixed. Why do you think I use such specific words? Why do you think I've gone to the extent of narrating what's happening in my mind and what I'm seeing and what I'm trying to do? Because I'm not a art is part of my soul, right? Like, I'm feeling it. No. You're a fucking engineer, okay? You're an engineer. You are analyzing. You are trying to understand the gap between what you understand conceptually and what you're applying technically, right? And then when you do imagination drawings or you draw to experiment, then you're like, la, smear my dick on page. All okay, but it's based on the technical ability. A very good segue into the accents, even though it was completely mediocre, fucking shit accent. But yes, and then we pee poo poo man, right? I've heard he's that large again, actually. My friend sent a link. Fucking Jesus. But yeah, like, again, when I'm looking at this, I'm not just thinking, oh, I'm just thinking about the box. No, I'm thinking about the center plane, this center plane. See, I don't even, my brain's fucking dying, bro. This center plane, right? This cross axis, seeing through the form, right? We're understanding space. We're understanding 3D on a 2D plane. You must, to the best of your ability, analyze yourself like again, like a fucking experiment. Like, you're literally dissecting your own abilities, right? And when you verbalize, when you actively think about what you're capable of and what you're incapable of, it gives you the actions to take for the next 100 hours, the next 5,000 repetitions, to be like, all right, now I know what the discrepancy is. What is my discrepancy? Model's not fused yet. What do I need to do? Constantly work on fusing the model, right? How long will it take? Let's say 200 hours, because it took me 100 hours to get to this point, right? Arbitrary number, I just understand that it's gonna take a fuck ton of work and time, right? Cool! Let's keep analyzing, let's keep understanding, let's keep course correcting, right? Let's keep making it difficult, keep changing the angle. But yeah, 58 minutes, still haven't drawn the face, so let me rest my brain, draw the fucking face, and thinking about the Loomis proportions roughly. And again, this is gonna be even more difficult, because not only is this an angle I don't understand, right? Or like much more, an angle I understand, but I don't have the ability to calculate to this level of fidelity, right? Like at this level of fidelity, but in terms of like actually like seeing more and calculating even more consistently and fused in this angle, right? So it's gonna be even more difficult, which is good. But yeah, let me rest my brain and then we will finish. But yeah, rest your brain as well, please. Okay, let's draw this fucking woman's face. Right, emphasis on the face, because that's actually what this is. Did you know we're practicing portraits? Very confusing to most people. Be like, I thought we were doing portraits, but this guy's been talking about fucking geometry. Yes, yes, right. Ever heard of Loomis, Bridgman, right? Bourgeoisie, any of them, right? One of those, not like the other. Specifically Loomis, right? I heard it was quite the revolution. None of that makes sense. I'm just stringing words together in order to sound ill-equipped. But anyways, that's just a reference too. I'm just full of fucking shit references. But anyways, okay, so I'm like, for a second, I vaguely saw the 3 cross axes, or the 2 cross axes, not the third. But just for a second, I saw that. Now it's gone, which is okay. But let's see, this is the nose, I believe, right? Like this right here. Because again, it's being drawn on top of the sphere. It's not being drawn on top of the portrait, right? But this is, I believe, where the nose is, right around here. And the angle is incorrect, but again, you have to understand, like, I'm gonna be drawing this all incorrectly for quite some time before I actually understand. And this is, I'm trying to think about the sphere, and the brow is right around, this is the forehead, I believe. It's foreshortened. This is the eye line, right? That's, oh, sorry, the brow line. So I need to think about the center. So the center is the fucking brow line, from my understanding. So let's, is it actually? I think it is. I have to look at like the because I have an image that kind of like breaks down how the sphere is divided into thirds for the Loomis head, right? Because it's like, this is the Loomis, right? It's like, this is the sphere. I think it's divided like this, right? And then this is like the jaw, right? And the jaw has its own divisions. That, I'm not even worried about the jaw right now because we're already fucking dying over this. But then if the middle of the sphere is so that means that's actually pretty easy. That means I can just draw the center. Like, let's get the center plane, right around there. And I can't think of anything right now. I'm in pure output regression, but that means, and I just need to more than anything think about this first, right? Like, this is my, roughly, this is my, yeah, like I can't calculate this properly at all, but I'm aware that I can't calculate it properly. But this is my brow line, I think, right? Yeah, this is my brow line. Let's just get her fucking eyebrows. Done. Yeah, this angle is definitely incorrect, but this is my brow line. And again, like, these are features. Oof, this is very difficult to think about, but this is my, because I'm trying to think about this center plane and this center plane, and that's where the brow is, right? And I also have to remember, I don't have to actually make the features as large as the box in and of itself, because it's not on the box. It's literally not on the box. It's on the sphere inside the box. The box actually is literally just and then this is my nose, right? So this is the forehead. The forehead is foreshortened, right? Makes sense. And then this is my nose, right? My nose is roughly right around here. So let's see. Okay, and I'm trying to think about the actual underlying sphere that's part of this, right? And it's very difficult, don't get me wrong. I'm really not thinking about it accurately at all. And again, I keep looking away to see the reference. And that is obviously very difficult. And you can see, like, nothing about this nose is anything spectacular, right? To be very clear. But this is good because it's going to teach me a lot of nuance about the face as well. And especially with line work, right? And then the lips. The lips is part of the Loomis jaw, right? And we will, let's see, we will... And again, like, there's nothing special about these lips that I'm drawing either. I do understand vaguely how the lips work as 3D forms. It's like an inflated cylinder, right? But that doesn't mean I'm actually capable of doing it well, right? That doesn't mean I'm actually capable of doing it well because I have not built the skill of doing it well. And again, like, I'll tell you, I'll be completely honest. I can't think about any of the sphere or anything right now because I'm just looking at the reference and trying to right now proportionally get the and think about the space of the reference as well, like in terms of her features, and yeah, just trying to get the space relatively accurate, like in terms of like understanding the shapes that are actually being used, right? So that is, and again, like, this box is actually inaccurate, right? Because her face is tilted more this way, you know, and I'm pretty sure like I got the angle. This actually, that's funny actually, yeah. It's more like this. It's tilted more like this, right? And you can see I got it wrong. All right, which is why, like, but because I understand space, I'm literally able to transfer her face into another perspective. Look at that. Her face is supposed to be like this, right? It's literally supposed to be like this. but I did it this way, right? Subtle, but this is how you know like the spatial reasoning 100% works, because I can look at a reference, draw it inaccurately, and still draw it believably because I understand the space, right? Because I understand what it's resting on. And again, by the way, I cannot think about anything right now. Like, and when I say that, I try to. Like, when I said I can't think about anything, I'm trying to think about the backplane of the box. Am I really thinking about the sphere now that I mentioned it? Again, I'm trying to, right? I'm trying to think about it, right? Really doing my best, but drawing these features and like basically zooming in. When you draw these features, when I draw these features, I zoom in, right? Because I'm trying to get them accurate. But the goal is to zoom in while having this mental model fused underneath, right? So you can see why I say 200 hours. Because the goal is not to be able to do it intuitively. The goal is to be able to see this entire schema, this mental simulation, and draw it at any angle possible, right? Any angle possible. So that is the goal, right? And again, like I vaguely, but now that I'm thinking about the center plane, the thing is like I'm constantly trying to think about the center plane, right? So it's good. Like I'm still getting some feedback. Right, and then I still don't know how the sphere is cut out, but and I can't see her ear as well, but we'll just say it's something like this, right? We'll just vaguely do something like this, right? And this is all based on me relatively understanding the space that her that she resides in or whatever the fuck. But there you go, and then we'll just draw her hair. Not that I understand hair, but hair is like a completely different beast, right? But for the time being, we'll just draw her hair, and we'll call it at that. We don't need to like do the entire thing, because hair is also something that it's something that lays on top of. It's a 3D shape. It's a 3D shape. That's the best way I can explain it. But there you go. That is good enough, right? That is good enough. And then again, the neck is roughly down here. It's a fucking thick ass neck for a woman, but actually no, it's relatively thin. But yeah, there you go, right? And now we're actually going to draw, and we're gonna see if I placed it accurately within the box, right? Because this is the fun part now. This is the part where you actually understand what spatial reasoning was he seeing this entire time, right? And spoiler alert, it's fucking this. But that's why like these drawings don't really matter, you know? Like these don't really matter. Here, just for like the aesthetic sake of the thumbnail, we'll start with the side, right? So Viggy was trying to think, almost fucking said my name again, right? He was trying to think about all of this, right? This is what he was thinking about, right? This is what he was thinking about, right? And I am going to try to do it relatively accurately, and you're gonna see that my lines really suffer, like my lines, not my perspective, but my lines really suffer from this angle. That was me using as much fucking concentration as I could muster, right? And then let's see. See, I got this line wrong. This center line's completely wrong. So it's a beautiful mistake. See, lines really suffer. They get really thick too, because this pen, fucking the level of bleed that's happening on this pen is what goddamn should be happening at the other new pen, like the black pen. But for some reason, see, like I off-centered this, so that was incorrect. So yeah, like I'm gonna make mistakes, quite a few mistakes, but I'm trying to see through the form as well. By the way, this is just what's visible. I haven't even drawn what's invisible, right? And I don't have, the thing is like I would use other colored pens, by the way, just as like a heads up for my own goddamn sake, but they bleed through the page a lot more. They bleed through the page a lot more. Like you see this does not bleed that much, right? But the red ones and the green ones that I have, like this one bleeds, this green one, right? Like same pen, but the green one bleeds a fuck ton through the page, right? To the point where it's an actual distraction, like genuinely an actual distraction, right? So I'm trying to avoid that, right? So I would rather just go through this turmoil of confusing myself when I'm drawing these lines, and like when I start going to the other sides of the planes and all that shit, then fucking deal with the bleed through. And again, you're gonna see like I'm gonna make mistakes regarding the back plane, right? I'm gonna make mistakes, but this is basically what I'm trying to see. We haven't even added the sphere yet. Isn't that beautiful? We haven't even added the sphere yet, right? And you see like I already made the back plane too short, like this side, so I have to fix that. So yeah, there you go. We're seeing through the form, and now we have to think about this. Like this is everything I'm trying to see. Am I actually seeing it? No, but everything I'm trying to see, right? And then this, of course, this center plane. See, everything goes through. This center plane goes through here, goes through there. This is the front one, right? This center plane. And then we have this vertical center plane, right? And then we have the horizontal center plane. Did I even draw this line? What the fuck? Can't see. I don't know what the fuck I drew anymore. What? See, this is like I'm confusing myself, but let's just say this horizontal center plane. Oh yeah, I did. No, I didn't do the back part. There you go, like this, right? And then the cross axis in the back here. I don't even know. It's fucking hurting my head. But yeah, that is like what I'm trying to see. Oh, and that's not even the sphere yet, because now I have to think about this ellipse. Right, gotta think about this ellipse. Gotta think about this center plane's ellipse. Right? And then I gotta think about this vertical plane's ellipse. Where the fuck is it, bro? Yeah, like this. Right? And then the intersection of that is the sphere. So let me actually draw the sphere with the black pen. By the way, like all of this shit is obstructions and it's fucking me up right now, but the intersection of that, this is what I'm constantly trying to think about. Right? Like, yeah, there you go. See, like this. Bro, pen, please. See, like that is my... let's see. Horizontal, vertical, that is my ellipse. Something like this. Oh, that's my sphere, see? Like something like this. Like that is what I'm trying to think about. This is my sphere. And it's the intersection of all of these. I actually drew this inaccurately because it should have been more curved in here. But do you see that makes sense? And ta-da! That is the mental model I'm trying to build, right? Ta-da! So obviously when I draw these lines, it fucks my head up even more, right? Because like then it's just like, wait, because I'm drawing some of them incorrectly and all that shit. But the point is like, obviously I'm gonna keep trying to make them as accurate as possible, right? But yeah, this is the mental model I'm building, right? This is the level of geometric spatial reasoning that I'm attempting to achieve, such that over the years, right, my foundation will be so strong that it's all gonna compound, right? Then like my ability to make organic forms is gonna compound. And again, think about it, like I've only ever practiced geometric spatial reasoning, yet my organic forms don't look like shit, they look mediocre, right? I mean, they look pretty shit. Like again, you can tell I don't know how to draw wings, but the point is they look believable, even though I actually haven't practiced organic forms at all, right? And obviously you can tell the clear disparity between my ability to draw something more hard surface or mechanical versus my ability to draw more organic, right? 100% you can tell the difference. But the point being that this is just the first step. This is my approach to min-maxing geometric perspective. And then you will see years down the line my approach to min-maxing organic perspective. And the funny thing is, like, I will actually get really good at organic perspective just from the portrait roadmap in general, because the features themselves are organic, right? And the manipulated shapes will start with simple, right? Like Antonio, the creative artwod, my god, my fucking savior, gluck, 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 right? He'll start the nose off like this. This is what the nose starts off. So you can see like very, very, very geometric, right? And then it'll turn into something like this, where it'll become something more like this, right? And then it's like this, the nose, right? And then it'll be like it's a bent cylinder, so something like that. And this is like, the thing is, like, I don't even understand how like what he uses, but I know it's roughly something like this. And then lo and behold, it'll become something like this, right? Whereas you're just like, oh, okay. I mean, I can somehow think about the sneer, and then I can think about the other side, and it's like, oh, okay, right? There you go. That's a nose. I understand the space now, right? Cool. You know, you'll be able to think more about the anatomy and all that shit. Right? But you see how, like, I don't know what a nose looks like, but that looks like a nose just because my geometric understanding of space is so solid, or so much more solid than, I guess, what people aspire for or aim for. But you can aim for this. Look at this. I'm just fucking average, right? Like, if you look at my year 1 to 2 playlist, you'll see, like, it's like a staircase where you fucking stumble and fall every 3 steps. And then somehow you find a goddamn, like, it's like snakes and ladders, right? You're like, but this is like 10 years. It's 10 years, right? So with that being said, I hope you put a lot of effort in, right? This was a great session yet again, really fucking grinded my brain. And that's the goal. It's just to try your best to keep trying to understand and keep, again, treat yourself like a fucking human lab, right? What am I capable of? What am I incapable of? What is the disparity? What can I recognize? And let me just keep trying to juggle those things as often as possible, because I understand that drawing And draftsmanship is a cognitive endurance ability. It is a spatial reasoning ability. It is a working memory quota deficiency, right? It is the inability to consolidate information, which is why I keep trying to push it until my brain goes through the process of neuroplasticity and consolidates it. And to improve the process of neuroplasticity, I simply try to feel as good as I can while I make these mistakes, because that actually encourages my brain to solve those errors. And if I feel frustrated, it's gonna stop them from solving those errors. And I'm actually shooting myself in the fucking dick, right? Or the vagina, but I only have like 20% female followers. So, and that actually sounds much more like a painful experience, right? So please don't do that. You know, you already bleed once a month, right? Haha, period joke, right? Fucking generic as shit. But either way, I hope y'all tried. I hope y'all tried. And as always, fuck you for watching. Keep drawing, and please,